Hi, it's your girl Samaya. Today I would like to just share a little bit about my case with you, number one. And I wanted to share with you why that case in Las Vegas in 2013, when Gwendolyn Chaney filed that restraining order against me, I wanted to share with you why that one is so important. Now, the case number is 13P1453, and it was filed with the North Las Vegas Justice Court. Well, 2013, I believe it was September 27th, that Gwen filed a restraining order against me. During that time, I was seeking intervention, some help for what I thought someone was targeting me. And so I sent several government agencies letters stating that I was basically alleging that I thought the Chaney family had they were the ones that were targeting me, because it was just kind of like right at that time when we kind of just like separated from each other. Gwen and I used to be very, very good friends. And so sometime around September of 2011, we kind of drifted apart. We never disrespected each other or had any hard feelings towards each other, but I thought she was doing a lot of undermining stuff to me during our friendship. And so it's just kind of like, okay, the last thing she did, okay, to myself, I'm saying enough is enough. So I kind of just like drifted away. But throughout that friendship, every time she would do something, it kind of weakened our friendship anyway. And sometimes, like I said, I wouldn't say anything, but just kind of ease my way out of her life. Well, right after I eased my way out of her life completely, it appears that, or it seemed like I had became a target. So when I sent the NAACP, Congress, Senator Harry Reid, who else? The Attorney General Catherine, and a few other politicians in Las Vegas and other politicians worldwide. When I sent those letters out, and to the NAACP, but when I sent those letters out, I did allege that Gwen family was the one who I thought that was, sabotaging my salon. Well, Gwen, apparently a lot of those letters got back to Gwen. And so she said that is what led up to her that is what led up to her filing that restraining order against me in 2013. Well, on the application, it appears that Gwendolyn Chaney, her mother, and her sister, all three walked that application in, that they filed that order against me. Gwen stated that during our friendship, I showed behaviors that concerned her. Now, remember that our friendship ended the latter part of 2011. We're now talking about the latter part of 13. So on that letter, she said that during our friendship, that I displayed some type of psychiatric behaviors that concerned her. Now, that is what, 11, 12, almost 2 years ago. So basically, she's saying that during the time when we were friends, let's hypothetically say you have an ex-husband, and 2 years up the road, you go and file a restraining order against him because you saying when we were married, he has some issues. Okay, so leave it at that. So now we are in court, right? And so when we're in court, the judge says to Gwen, he says, first of all, let me back that up. On that application, Gwen said that we have not had any contact with each other in over a year. So over a year, we have not had any contact with each other. So when we get to court, the judge says, Gwen, do Samaya bother you? She said, no. Do she write you? No. Do she send you any letters? No. Do she call or try to contact you by any means? No. Do y'all run into any of these little hair circle things? He said verbatim. Do y'all run into each other doing any of these hair circle things? And she said, no. So he said, Gwen, Samaya has the right to contact or write anybody for help for stuff that she is alleging that's happening to her. She has the right to do that. So on the application, again, Gwen said that she merely filed that restraining order because I showed some behaviors that concerned her 2 years prior. And also, she said she did get a couple of those letters back from different agencies stating that I was alleging them for my misfortunes and for all the stuff that I said on that letter. So she did say that she got a copy of that letter, Gwen. And so also she wrote that she went to go see Senator Stephen Horsford after she received those letters. And there was a guy in his office that worked for the internal affairs, told her to file that restraining order. But what it appears is that everything that she said on paper, and then when she said one thing on paper, but when we stood in front of the judge, she kind of like, denied all the stuff that she said on paper. So she said that, again, that I was not bothering her, but yet you filed a restraining order against me, which is not making any sense. But I have to tell you about that particular case because that's the one that kind of gotten out of control. And it seemed like that is the one that carries the most weight right about now. There's no statute of limitation. And again, it was just a bold-faced lie. I was not bothering her. And during that time, that was October 4th of 2013 that we stood in front of the judge. Do you know that October the 19th, 2013, I had a major event coming up, on that day, and it was called Mama's Got a Belt. You can find it on YouTube. It's called Mama's Got a Belt. So I had and it was at the Texas station, one of the major casinos. At that Texas station, I did that Mama's Got a Belt. Do you know that was just, 15 days after that restraining order? So I said that to say I had so much stuff going on during that time when she is alleging that, when she filed that restraining order against me. Now, her basis again for filing that restraining order was because I sent out a whole bunch of letters, and I did, seeking help. And I did allege her, but a lot of those agencies that I sent those letters to, apparently they must have contacted Gwen and told Gwen that I sent them, those letters. And so that's her basis, was I sent out letters. And then she said that I have a gun, being that we were friends. She know that I have a gun registered to me in my name. So she said that. She said that on the application that I, Samaya Hodges, will believe that the police are corrupt and are helping us, is what her exact words were. So helping them. So she said that Samaya will believe that the police officers are corrupt and helping us. So when she says helping us, to me that is a guilty plea, because she's saying that they are doing it, and they're going to make me think that it's the police officers that are doing it, because she says she will believe that the police officers are corrupt and helping us. So again, I'm not understanding this whole restraining order for protection that Gwen filed against me. Now, she told the judge that we hadn't seen each other in over a year. Well, we was just hanging out together April of that same year, about 5 or 6 months prior. We ran into each other at an event. Joe Cato had an event, and we was there, and we hung out together. We sat together, we talked together, and even after the event was over, we walked each other to the garage. So that was like about 3 hours we was in conversation together at this here event. So something is really fishy here, but yet this here whole ordeal is kind of spiraled out of control, and now I'm in Stafford trying to get my house back in Las Vegas. They took the truck, the house, the business. I have another commercial truck. I'm not sure what's going on with my daughters, but yet this whole situation kind of spiraled out of control, and it appears that it may have started behind that restraining order. Now, being that her sister is a firefighter investigator, Gwendolyn sits on the Commerce and Labor Energy Board, and her mother is the president of an educational board. I think right away any judge could see through that, and especially with that Commerce and Labor Energy Board, that first of all, you guys are some powerful positions. And this is really kind of like impossible for me to put fear in these people who have the ups on me. You know, they are in some real powerful positions. I was just a common person at the time. I don't at the time. And so it would be virtually impossible for me, a common person, up against a firefighter investigator, someone who sits on the Commerce and Labor Energy Board, and a person who's over the Educational Board, because they have a lot of political backing, especially the firefighter investigators, kind of like a FBI agent. And you saying that you are afraid of me for real? So it seemed like that this whole restraining order deal was just some preliminary stuff to continue to go after me as a target, because under the war crime laws, it states that in order for a war to happen, that a conflict must be established. Now, when we went to court again, that conflict was not established. The judge ruled in my favor, so they sent me to court, and it was ruled in my favor. So basically, they should have went to jail. Had I had known the law at the time, they should have been ones who went to jail. So they volunteered to put themselves in jail by filing that restraining order against me that they know was a lie. On the good side, and on the good note of this here, there is no statute of limitations for the case in which it was filed in my favor, so they could still go to jail. So again, they took the initiative to tell a bold-faced lie just to start a war or just to start a conflict against me, because again, political powers, they know the game and they know how to do it. So what they do is, the first thing they do is to file a restraining order to make it seem like we are in a conflict, and then they use that restraining order to go after their targets. This is just corrupt behavior. And so they got caught this time in their political corrupt behavior, because Gwen, like I said, she went to court and said there was no conflict, that we did not have a problem. So all of that was overturned. So she shouldn't have been around me or my daughters or anybody, because on that letter that Gwen sent to, that she attached to her application, was one of the letters that I sent around to all of the agencies. And the first paragraph on that letter states that Samaya is afraid for her and her daughter's life. So therefore, Gwen, her sister and her mother, they shouldn't have had no contact with me whatsoever, and they shouldn't have had any contact with my daughters and my babies. Now, I'm just really, now that I've been studying, I didn't know the extent of that ruling from that judge that particular day. So I didn't know the extent of that. So I'm learning daily. And so looking back on today, that is a real serious case there, that happened. So Trina and Gwen should not have had any contact with me or my daughters. Now, in 2020, their mom passed away. And one of the ladies that worked at the school with Gwen, she came by the shop. She said, "Why wasn't you at Miss Cheney's funeral?" And I said, it's so much going on. It wasn't appropriate. I didn't think it'd be appropriate to be there, because we was once family. We 12 years, that's a long time to be friends. And we hung out every day. And so I said, I didn't think that would be appropriate with, with this case and everything going on. And so she was an older lady, and she was saying, you know what? That's what's wrong with Black peoples. That's why we can't get along, yada, 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 yada. She said, you should have been there. Well, just write her letter, just write her something, because we all three work together. And like I said, she's older. The lady that's doing the talking is old enough to be my mother. And so I just said, she made me feel some kind of way. And but these people were my family at one time, and I'm bigger than that. So yeah, I wrote her. I sent her a sympathy card. I went to the Walgreens and bought a card. I sent it to her. And I did get a reply back from Gwen, a thank you card right back. So that's the only other communication we have had since then was 20. I sent her mom I sent Gwen them a sympathy card to the school. And she replied back with a thank you card, which is fine. But looking back, and being that I still have this situation pending, and now after the card and looking back, it appears that I can still probably try to get some justice if I go back to that first case again. So I may have to go back to that first case to get some justice now that I know there's no statute of limitation that and they had contact with my daughter between that 13 and that 20. And so there's no statute of limitations. And then also something else, I have proof of them possibly the ones who broke in my house and stole that dog in 2020. It has not been confirmed yet legally, but there may be something there. So I don't want to put and say that she actually did it, but it may be something there too. So, but nevertheless, with that restraining order though, it was ruled in my favor. So the judge, I need to write that judge back, and but they already know because I've been contacting them too. But maybe I need to write this point down and argue it with, again, make a different argument with the judge in relations to that case, because that's a really serious matter that happened. You know, I'm at the top of my game. I'm doing extremely well. And for somebody to just come in and just sabotage my salon, use me as a target just to get me out of Las Vegas or to shut my business down, you know, that's too bad. I never had a fight a day in my life. I'm not a drama queen. I don't use the B word against against friends and all that old kind of stuff. Like I said, we just kind of eased out of each other's life. So I'm not a drama queen. But again, I have been deprived of my life since then. And so I'm still trying to figure out what happened to my child. I'm in here in Stafford, Texas, 77477 area code. So I'm still here in Stafford, Texas with my daughter, trying to find a way to make me, to support myself, because I'm not working. I won't take no government assistance like food stamps or anything like that. I don't mind working. It's just that I'm being blocked from working due to that PIN registered trap and trace. And also I invested all of my money in my home. So my home is in Las Vegas. They just blatantly took it. They weren't supposed to have taken it. This year be 21 years in that house for me, 21 years, and it's paid for. I had the title and the deed. So why should I try to find work here in Houston, or when I'm trying to get back home to my house? That's my retirement fund is tied up in that house. I never taken a salary. All my salon paid for everything, for the kids' schooling, for the housing, for both commercial trucks, the business. It paid for my CDC. It paid for absolutely everything my business is. So all of my retirement funds is tied up in that house. And for them to just blatantly take the house, and I don't know who them are, so I don't want to say they did it, but for Las Vegas to have allowed this, that's unacceptable. And the fact that I feel that me and my daughter's war has been declared on us without cause. And so that's my argument to the international courts. So I'm still seeking intervention right now. If they would just give me my IRS tax refunds back. Again, I paid into the system before funds were even due. I paid estimated taxes to my business. So every quarterly, I would pay estimated taxes without even owing any money. And so if they would just give me all my money back that I paid into the system, which was my IRS refunds. I was in a car accident here at Geico, and I filed a claim. They could give me that Geico money back, then the taxes and some unemployment that I filed that I paid into Detour. As a salon owner, I had no choice but to pay into unemployment. I had wage workers. In other words, my salon did not rent chairs. I paid each one of those girls a wage. 3 of them were getting like $52,000 each, and I had to match their VICA taxes and other taxes. So if America would just pay me the money that I put into this year's system, in the meantime, I would go and find another home and continue to study and until I can, get my house back. But I can't even get them to give me the money that they owe me here in this year's system. And it's so unfortunately, I hate to keep making these videos. I hate to keep talking about my situation, but I have no other choice. I hate to keep doing it because I do not want to be a target for, I do not want to be a legend for blacks. I do not want to be a legendary for America, because I know sometimes blacks intentionally pick on their own people, trying to make them a legend. And so I'm really trying to avoid all that too, because I don't want to be your next Martin Luther King or Harriet Tubman or your next Malcolm X, because black them do that to their own people. They try to create their own dead heroes. They don't want live heroes. They rather have a dead hero. So I'm trying to prevent all of that too. I'm just trying to live, me and my baby. So in the meantime, if America would just look into that case, give me a settlement from that case, then me and my children, we can move on. We can move forward, live in a different home until I can fight to get that one back. You wouldn't think it would be a fight, being that I have the title and the deed and everything to the house already. But still, Las Vegas just decided they just going to take it, and that's just all it is to it, and they're not going to give it back. So again, I just wanted to make this video to share you just a little bit of synopsis about what happened in 2013, the very first case. Now, the lady that appeared in court with Gwen on that particular day, she is the president of the NAACP. So if that helps y'all kind of understand, she sits on Gwen cosmetology board, and she's the lady does. She sits on Gwen cosmetology board, and she also Gwen best friend. So she was at the hearing with Gwen. So you see how it's impossible for me to go to certain agencies for help, because those agencies are now all her friends, and I feel like I'm being blocked because they are her friends. And one last thing I should tell you too, the lady that sits on the NAACP board, she is also one of the women's or the mortgage company who has worked on my paperwork for my house in 2004. So it's kind of like, it's a long story, and she has involvement too. So I had to just share a little bit of that with you, so you can kind of draw your own conclusion as to what happened. I'll come back another time with you guys. Hopefully I have like a my easel board or something in front of you, so I can, in front of me, so I can kind of show you dates and timelines of different events that have happened that will help you draw your own conclusion, and you can be the judge of this situation yourself. But nevertheless, y'all keep me in your prayers. Please pray that God will hurry up and send me an angel, send me some help. I am in need of a financial blessing. I don't tend to beg or ask nobody for anything, but I am in need of a financial blessing. And the courts refuse to just do their job, so I'm still waiting. There's money on I have all types of money on the records. I'm just waiting on them to send me a portion of it. If they don't want to send me all of it, I'm waiting on the Internal Revenue Service to send me my money, and the unemployment office in Nevada to send me my money, as well as they have my truck. They can send me my truck. They can give me keys to my house. I mean, they can just do so much other than just sitting here trying to age me and deprive me of just basic fundamental rights, you know. And so again, y'all keep me in your prayer. If you can, forward the message. Until I get back in touch with you guys, much love. I hope you guys are having a wonderful and a blessed day as always. This is your girl, Samaya, and I should talk to you soon. Bye-bye.